Now, almost 1 week ago on Friday Night SmackDown, the current United States Champion Logan Paul made an announcement that pretty much broke the internet. Got a lot of old school pro wrestling fans a little bit upset. And it wasn't the news that Prime Hydration, Logan Paul's very own drink, was now going to get a lot of spots where they would be sponsoring certain matches, sponsoring certain pay-per-views, and that it had officially become WWE's hydration partner, which TKO and WWE announced months ago. But it was the announcement that the Prime logo, or the silhouette of a Prime drink, the Prime bottle, was now going to be part of the canvas for every WWE pay-per-view event going forward. You heard it right. That bottle, that silhouette, that quote-unquote sticker, it's going to be smack dab in the middle of the pro wrestling ring when Wrestlemania comes around, when we get Backlash in France, when we get Money in the Bank in Canada, I believe, and we get SummerSlam in Cleveland. We're going to be watching, we're going to be witnessing every single match with that Prime bottle silhouette right then and there. A very colorful silhouette at that as well. And of course, just as expected, not just with pro wrestling fans, but human beings in general, human beings don't really like change so much. And this is a major deviation away from the quote-unquote good old days of the rock and wrestling era, the new generation era, the attitude era, the ruthless aggression era, the PG era, the reality era, and what we got right now. We've never had this happen in WWE. We've seen it in UFC, I believe. We've seen it before in TNA Wrestling. We've seen it even on AEW, I believe. But never with World Wrestling Entertainment. And you know what? It's a fantastic move, business-wise. Because I'm sure WWE is getting paid a pretty lofty sum for having that sticker, that silhouette, on the wrestling canvas for pay-per-views. Like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon said all the way back in, I believe, 2013, that's what's best for business. It is a business, after all. They're here to make money, not just content, not just entertainment. As simple as that. Now, personally, of course, would I have preferred that WrestleMania be exempt from this deal? Of course. Of course. I could get used to the idea. I could get used to this idea in general. Don't get me wrong. But I can get used to the idea of having this Prime bottle silhouette in the middle of the wrestling ring canvas for a SummerSlam, for a Survivor Series, for a Money in the Bank, for a Royal Rumble, for one of the Saudi shows. Of course, I can. There's something about WrestleMania that should be held in a whole different light, in a very different regard. I don't know. But like I said, I like to keep an open mind to things. And ultimately, it's just a matter of time before we get used to seeing this at every single pay-per-view. And of course, it would not have benefited Prime at all, them making this deal with WWE, the biggest sports entertainment pro wrestling company in the world, paying the amount of millions of dollars in sponsorships that they paid WWE to have this happen, to have this go through, and not have the absolute biggest show possible be included in that deal. I'm sorry, it's business. It is what it is. We just have to stick with it. We just have to get through it. And again, times change. I know there's a lot of fans out there, a lot of pro wrestlers or former pro wrestlers out there that aren't really on board with this at all. One tweet in particular really comes to mind, which is Mick Foley pretty much retweeting or tweeting a picture of him laying on the middle of the mat once he was thrown through it by The Undertaker during their infamous Hell in a Cell match in 1998, and then the prime bottle silhouette right then in the smack dab middle of it, obviously expressing the discomfort and the awkwardness of how it would look. But again, times change, and ultimately, it's the best move for both brands. WWE gets, hopefully, a very, very big sum, a very, very big figure, money-wise, to have that there. And Prime, of course, gets a ton of publicity by being a part, consistently, of WWE's biggest events. But those are my thoughts. Like I said, I would much rather prefer WrestleMania not be included in this deal, but I can get used to it. And eventually, what matters is what actually happens in the ring. The stories that they tell, the characters, the wrestling itself. So, with that said, leave your thoughts, comments on the entire Prime WWE situation. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? What would you have changed? I don't know. What changes would you have made? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions in the comment section below. With that said, I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.